So here we go. So good evening, parents and students. Welcome to tonight's masterclass. I got in, I signed. Now what's next? I'm excited that you decided to spend your Tuesday evening with me so that you can get all the tools and resources that you need to master transitioning from high school to college. Is not always an easy thing, but it is a much needed thing so that you can continue to pursue your education and gain the momentum that you need to start your life's career. So let's jump start, and it's all the way at the beginning. How is that, luckily, right? So let's get started. Housekeeping rules. Please chat all questions in the chat box. I am going to, as soon as we get to the Q&A, go through all the questions in the chat, and you'll have an opportunity to come off mute if you'd rather ask your question out loud. But in the meantime, if you don't want to forget your question when I say something, please chat it in the chat box, and we will unmute towards the end and allow you to be able to chat your question so that we can cover anything you have. And so, because I want to make sure this is all about you, so we want to make sure, of course, you can get your questions answered by the end of the masterclass. So most of you are saying, who is Regina? For those of you who have never been on any of my master classes, and tonight might be the first time you get to meet me, when you jump on, please be sure to mute yourself when you come into the master class. That would be helpful. Thank you. So if this is your first time meeting me, I am Regina Robinson. I'm the founder of Suited for Success College Planning Services. And for the last 15 years, I have been helping families like yourselves successfully navigate the college admissions process and win the game of college admissions. I am a former high school educator. I taught high school in Prince George's County Public Schools, at Frederick Douglass, Wise, and then went on to DC to Duke Ellington School of the Arts. I am a former college professor at Trinity Washington University, and I am a graduate of Bowie State University. Go Bulldogs. So if we have any Bulldogs in the house, chat that Bulldogs, hashtag Bulldog for life. And also my master's degree from Georgetown University, go Hoyers. So if we have any rising George Hoyers come on to Georgetown in the fall, we are a Hoyer for life. And so I am excited that you guys are here with me this evening, and I want to make sure that you have everything that you need. Most importantly, I am not oblivious to this process. I am a parent of a college freshman who just ended her first year of college successfully. So I understand. I am in the crevices with you, and we want to make sure that you have everything that you need to make sure you know you are not alone. We are in this together. And so after tonight, I hope that you will gain some resources, some tips, some tools that's going to push you to what you need. Because here's what I know. This is the first time students will be away from home alone for the very first time for more than a weekend at their friend's house or a couple of days with their grandmother or aunt. This is for months at a time. And for parents, this is the first time you're going to release your child into the atmosphere without you. A year ago, I felt the same way. There were some sad emotions, there was some mixed emotions, there was some exciting emotions, but I had to lean into my foundation of knowing that as a mother, I had done everything I can to instill in my daughter to be great. And so I had to trust that she had that within her so that she can go off to her college and do great for her freshman year. So parents, I hope that encourages you to be prepared a little bit to release them so that they can feel like they are ready to go be great, because they know you've done everything you needed to help them get to the space that they needed to be so that they can be great. So after sharing how to plan for what's next, I will not leave you alone. I will share with you as families how you can move forward. Work with us if you need that coach or that mentor. We will be there to support you to make sure your child not just goes to college to survive, but that most importantly, they thrive over the next 4 years of where they have now pronounced as home. We had Spelman, we had Howard, we had Hampton, we had, oh my gosh, what's some of the other ones? We had University of Delaware. We had a lot of schools that people chatted about. And we want to make sure that each one of them have exactly what they need to journey forward into the next phase of their educational journey. So let's jump right in. I know you have questions and I know you need answers. So tonight we're going to dispel those questions and make sure you get the answers to each and every one of those. So here's some of the common questions I get asked as it relates to what's next once you have put your deposit down. You have decided on your school. Now, where do you go from here? And so I want to make sure you have what it takes to move from here to the next level, to the next phase, and not be lost in the process. So first things first is how's my child's tuition payments broke up? That's huge, right? I know the parents are like, wait a minute, I need to know how I'm gonna pay all of this money because this is a lot of money they want at one time, or do I get an opportunity to break it up? So let's break that up completely and let me show you. So we're gonna jump slides and then come back. So don't think you can't see all the questions. We're gonna come back to those same questions. But I wanted to break down tuition payment plans. Some plans charge application fees or late fees, right? So if you say you want to do a tuition payment plan, there's an opportunity, there's a possibility that the school has application fees. And if you ever pay late, also late fees. So please keep that in mind. Also, tuition payment plans helps you reduce the need to borrow money to pay the bill. So it doesn't, now that means if you can get on a payment plan, maybe you don't have to go take out a loan, or maybe you don't have to reach out to a family member to borrow any money. You can actually make the monthly payments on your own. So let's use an example. If you owe $5,000 after financial aid, and that's your child's balance, you can sign up for a payment plan at $500 a month because it's broken down into 10 monthly payments. So every month you would pay $500. Now, if the school has an actual fee, application fee, remember, then you know it's going to be a little bit more, or it could be the application fee is upfront, and then you don't have to pay that within your monthly payments. So here's a fact, and this is an important fact. Only 7% of admitted students ask their college for additional funding. So parents, if you have not called your child's school as of today to ask for more money, call and ask tomorrow morning. And I know you're saying, Ms. Robinson, you could do that, girl, or sir, yes. So here's the deal. If you never ask, you'll never know. If you never ask, they can never say no. But what if they say yes? Now you just got your $5,000 balance down to maybe $2,000. Well, $2,000 is a lot easier to pay than $5,000. And so why pay $5,000 if you could possibly pay $2,000, parents? So we want to make sure we ask, because you never know if we'll be rewarded. So ask. When my daughter was getting ready to go to college, I asked. I called them and was like, and mind you, she had a $1,500 balance. I didn't care. I called back and said, I don't have $1,500. Can you please figure out how we can come up with an additional $1,500? Because I played the Russian roulette with them. She got a second school that she really loves. Now, this is before the deposit time. Some of y'all already made deposits now. Just let them know you're at a crucial, because you see what the balance is and things are looking a little not so great. So you need to see if they can come up with a couple more $1,000s to help you out to financially be able to afford it. So don't hesitate to reach out to your child's school. Now, some of you have already decided you're going to take federal direct subsidized and unsubsidized loans because they were included in your child's financial aid award letter. Remember, payments begin 6 months after leaving school, graduating, or dropping to less than half-time enrollment. So keep those points in mind. Flexible repayment terms are up to 10 to 25 years. That is a long time. So if they don't have to have loans, then you don't take the loans. Various deferment, income-driven repayment plans and loan forgiveness options are available when you qualify. And you know you can go to apply@studentaid.gov. Now, most of the schools have been telling you that they did not know, they couldn't direct you or tell you what the interest rate loans were going to be, what the interest rate were going to be for loans for the 2021-2022 students. Well, they've been announced. So direct student loan interest rates have been announced as 3.734%, and origination fee is 1.062%. The loan rates are established in relation to the May Treasury note auction. The note rate was set 1.684 as contrasted with the 2020 rate of 0.07. So y'all see how they go through coming up with all these rates and stuff. It's confusing to us, but they have it. So keep in mind those rates. Remember, each year the loan interest rate is declared for loans of the academic year affected. So that interest rate is only for 2021-2022. It can go up for sophomore year, or it can go down. So please keep that in mind when you're talking and thinking about your federal loans. Now, borrowing limits for dependent students. So that is each and every one of your students. And the only thing that applies to them right now is first year. So for first year, they get $5,500 up to $3,500 in subsidized, $2,000 in unsubsidized. And as you can see, each year it increases. The loan amount, for instance, is $5,500. Origination fee, remember we talked about that origination fee on the other page with the percentages. The origination fee is $58. So that gives them a net proceed of $5,442. So you see there's a difference already in how much. So you're thinking you get $5,500 and then actually you're getting $5,442. So you have to see the difference and you have to calculate for all of those things. Federal Plus loan. The loan is in appearance. The yellow part you can disregard, shouldn't be on this screen. It was actually what was on the other screen. So this, oh yes, I'm sorry, yes it should be. So let's say for instance, remember I told you your balance was $5,000, right? And you were paying the $5,000, but what if you don't do the payment plan and you decide to take the loan for a Federal Plus loan for $5,000? The loan is in a parent's name only. The credit check is required and they look at no debt to income performed. No cap or maximum amount. So if you needed more than $5,000, they can give you more than $5,000. But if you only owe $5,000, you only borrow $5,000, not a dollar more. Repayment begins once the loan fully disperses to the school. Deferments are available. And of course, the website is there. So let's say you did a $5,000 loan. The origination fee is $211 and your proceed will be $4,789. So let's say you needed the exact $5,000, or you can pay $211 of the difference. Then you pay the $211 difference to put on your child's account so that it's not based off of you trying to borrow extra so that you can make it to that particular amount, okay? Now, student to-dos, we're gonna go back because remember there were several questions on the I have questions slide and I forgot to put it on the other side, but that's technology and that was me messing up on that. So it says, how many credits should my child take freshman year? Well, let's talk about that. Oh, wait, you know what? I want to go back to one more thing about tuitions broken up. Remember, parents, you must sign a promissory note for loans. Please don't forget that. So if you are taking out student loans or parent loans, your child must sign the promissory note. Why is this so important for you to remember? So you know if you don't sign it, it's not done. Because midway through the semester, all of a sudden the school tells you you owe all of this money. What will happen? That will mean you never signed your promissory note. So the money got sent back. And so that means now you got to come up with that money, parents. Please sign your loan promissory note. That is important. Also remember, some of you I supported and some of you I did not help you. You have to complete the FAFSA every year on October 1st until your child gets out of college. Please don't forget. All of a sudden you'll get this big bill and not figure out why you got this big bill. It will be because you did not file your FAFSA. Every year on October 1st until your child graduates, you need to submit an actual FAFSA. Please don't forget. If I supported you with your FAFSA, you won't forget because we send you reminder emails and we do it for you. But if I did not and you did it on your own, put it on your calendar for every year as an alert for your FAFSA to be completed. Remember also refund checks, parents. If your child qualifies for a refund check, it is given to them. They ask them, do they want it in their school's mailbox at college, or do they want it sent home? Parents, you need to have that candid conversation and let them know they better send that check home. That money don't belong to them, so that you can save it for the next year, so that can help you offset less money to borrow. So if they wind up having a refund, what do, parents? You make sure they send it home so you can save that money. So now we'll move on. How many credits should my child take freshman year? I always share this with my mentees, and they have thanked me because they talk to other kids who are freshmen, who struggle, who flunk out, who do not do well because they overwhelm themselves. Colleges will not limit you on how many credits you need to, you decide to take. You only need 12 credits to hold your financial aid, 12 credit hours only. I tell my mentees no more than 15 credit hours. You are a freshman. College is not like high school. You need time to adjust and you need time to gain momentum. Sorry. This is not going to be like your high school courses. So please, 15 max if you can, 12 is all you need to hold your financial aid. Do not take more than you need. What's the best way to communicate with my child's college? I know some of you saying I keep calling, I can't get nobody. FERPA must be on file. The minute you sign, pay gate of deposit, and the minute they walk on campus for orientation, you have no right unless you have a FERPA on file. What is that? FERPA. The FERPA is a document that allows parents access to be able to call, ask questions, and get information. And so sometimes the schools will tell the kids about it and sometimes they won't. So parents, make sure when you are dropping your child off, you're doing those orientations, the first thing you raise your hand in those sessions, I'm sorry, where do we get a FERPA form for us to be signed, please, while we're here on campus? Do not leave that campus without signing the FERPA form. Because if you leave that campus and on that Monday you got a call, they will tell you they can't talk to you. And it's all up to your kids. So please make sure you get a FERPA form. It's important your students know how to advocate for themselves. My students are taught that in my program. The kids who go through my program are taught to advocate for themselves. Parents now more than ever, they need to be able to advocate. My mentees call me on a regular, like, Ms. Robinson, I know you tell me I got to advocate for myself, but I just want to run this by you. What you think? How should I word this? How should I go to my professor? What should I put in the email? We craft in the email, we edit in the emails, we getting it out. They need to be able to stand on their own. They need to be able to have that support because the professors do not want to talk to you. As a former professor, I would never talk to a parent, ever. And so you need to know that the professors do not talk to parents. The school's financial aid office might talk to you, but if you don't got that FERPA file on form, they ain't talking to you either. So please make sure you have everything in order. You need to make sure, students, that you speak up for yourself about things that you are not happy with or things that you're not sure about also. Next question is, what's the best way for my child to maximize their freshman year? I say it's important to get involved. However, it's even more important to balance the transition. Students, I'm not telling you don't get involved in extracurricular activities or participate in things on campus. That's important. But what you need to make sure is that you have a balance. You don't want to overwhelm yourself freshman year where you're trying to be involved in everything that you really don't understand what you're involved in. And so now you're overwhelmed, you're stressed out, and you're not focused on what you need to do academically. So please make sure you balance it. I say college is not the same as high school. Please understand that. I only wish someone had told me that. You don't have anyone to wake you up in the morning. So because your parents wake you up every day, that's not going to happen at college, right? Because most of you won't even be answering the phone. You have it on Do Not Disturb. No one to tell you to go to class. So when everybody hanging out on the yard, you don't have your parent there to say, what you doing out here? You better go to class, boy or girl, right? You don't have that. So these are decisions you're going to have to make. No one to tell you to skip the party because you have a paper or a test, right? There's no one there for those things for you. These are things that you're going to have values. You're going to have virtues for yourself, standards for yourself, boundaries for yourself that you are going to set in stone so that you can commit to your success. And no one to tell you missing a class is like missing a semester. It is hard to catch back up because the teachers and the professors cover so much in one session that you miss all of that material. So again, how do you maximize your freshman year will determine what boundaries you have set for yourself. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm just warning you that freedom can be enticing because you've never had it before. And so getting it in this format, right, is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have so much fun because I have so much freedom. So you want to hang all out in your dorm rooms to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning in other people's rooms, and you're having all this fun and oh my gosh. No, you have to balance it. And why? That's why doing this masterclass became so important to me, because I realized if I had someone to do this same masterclass before I went to college freshman year, I would have been different. My experience would have been different. Now, am I trading it back for the world? No, because it was learning lessons. But I told you guys I graduated from Bowie State University, right? But I didn't tell you I started college at Delaware State University. But I was that freshman who no one told me it was going to be different than high school. No one told me it was going to be extremely hard. So I got there. It was overwhelming. I got involved on campus. I got to having fun on campus. No one was waking me up to go to class, so I was staying asleep during class. And then when I went to class, I was behind because I stayed asleep to class before. And then when it was time to take a test, I didn't quite do so well because I didn't study like I should have, because I was at the party or I was hanging out on the yard late at night. And so here's the deal. The freedom is enticing if you don't have boundaries. I didn't have boundaries. And that's why I mentor my students and coach my students to have boundaries. Because if you don't, then what happens is you wind up being like me, freshman year, going to college, excited, couldn't wait to go to college. Yes, I'm gonna be a college student, get there and flunked out after my freshman year. Remember, I said it takes 12 credit hours to hold your financial aid. However, if you don't maintain academics, that financial aid will be snatched away and you will be on probation and you will be put out of college. So I got put out of college after freshman year. Why? Because I have no coach or mentor. I have nobody to tell me that my success was relevant upon how well I was going to do and what boundaries I had in place for myself. So now, my mother said, girl, you coming home because I'm not about to pay all that tuition. I went to a community college. I did well. I was able to return back to Delaware State, and I made the dean's list both semesters. The second year I went back to college. But it wasn't without making mistakes first, but then now I had different boundaries, but I had a different mindset and different values. But what I didn't have was a master class like this that I needed to make sure I understood what college life was going to be like and what was necessary in that. So maximize this freshman year that's coming up. Make sure you do whatever it takes to not just survive, but to thrive. What's the best way to ensure my child is prepared academically for college? This is very important. Study groups, class buddy. I tell my students all the time, every class you are in, you need to have a buddy. But you need to make sure you're smart about the buddy. Pay attention for that first couple of classes. See who look like they doing the work, who study, who's tuned in, taking good notes, asking questions. That's the class buddy you want. Because you want to make sure you can rely on them. God forbid if you get sick and can't go to class or you need that support. Class buddies are important. Most importantly, study groups are important, but get in the right study groups, okay? And visiting professor office hours. Can I tell you, as a professor, we're not coming looking for you for office hours. So if you don't come to us for office hours, oh, well, we'll never see you in office hours. Please utilize office hours for your professors. It's important, it's key. The tutoring and the writing lab, I tell my mentees all the time, use the writing lab. Don't wait to fail a test to go to the lab, or don't wait to fail a test because you didn't go to tutoring, or fail a paper because you didn't go get it edited. Make sure you are using the resources that are free and available to you as students. Do not take this lightly. Please, it is important. When you first get to college, everything from your syllabus should be in your calendar. My mentees thought I was crazy, but I said, I'm telling you, put it in your calendar now because the professor will not remind you. They will give you your syllabus with all your grades and when your assignments are due, and it's up to you to manage those grades and those assignments, okay? So now we're skipping to the correct slide. And it says student to-dos. So let all other colleges you have been admitted to know that you won't be attending. Please, that's a courtesy. Let them know that I will not attend your school. I thank you so much for the opportunity, because what happens if you go to your school this year and all of a sudden you decide you don't like it and you need to transfer back to one of those schools? It will look so good to have it in your record to you telling them, I decided I wasn't going to come. I made a different decision. Okay. Set up your student accounts, emails, etc. By now, because you have put a deposit, all of those things are now in your portal and need to be set up. So please make sure you are setting up your student account, your emails, as well as all of important information that you need to put in place for you to monitor what's coming to you. Be sure to check your emails regularly so you know when placement tests and orientation are, for your fall tuition payment is due, and so you can stay on top of other important requirements. Email is key. They are sending it to your child parents, not to you. It is inside your child's portal in their email. Please check it. Fill out any electronic forms or return any physical paperwork that may be required to accept any scholarships or financial aid. Join social media groups for accepted students at your school of choice and start to connect with future classmates. That's key, that's important. You can kind of find your roommate there, kind of see who's good, who people, where people are, what they're doing. It really gets you an opportunity to connect early. Let your high school counselor know where you'll be enrolling so that they know where to send your final transcript once it is available over the summer. You cannot attend your school in the fall if they have not received a final transcript. So please, please, please send your transcripts. Let your counselors know. So this is for the students. This is real talk. This is really, let's get transparent with one another so that you can really understand what's necessary and what's needed. Real talk for students, procrastination, I said, will seem like your best friend at college. It is the enemy of progress, okay? Procrastination is the enemy of progress. You cannot procrastinate in college like you procrastinated at your high school. It won't work. You have to be focused. You need to study daily and keep your eyes on the prize. What's the prize? Graduating in 4 years. Or if you're in a 5-year program, making sure you stay on track in that program. Professor relationship, remember, visiting office hours. Every professor should know you by name. We take that into account, I promise you. Every professor should know you by name. Deadlines is exactly what it says, a deadline. Professors will not extend homework, papers, or assignments like your high school teachers did. As high school teachers, sometimes when I became a college professor, I said, when I compare this to when I was a high school teacher, I did a disservice to my students because I would let them hand in stuff late sometime. But then now as a college professor, I won't let the kids bring in their stuff late. Well, they learned that at high school when we as teachers as high school, we're letting them do that. College professors do not take late work. Also, very important deadlines is at a drop classes. I had a former client, student who didn't move on into my mentor program because her parents had to do some other stuff. And so once she realized, we had a conversation later, and she said to me, well, my daughter got to take a class this summer. I said, well, why would she have to take a class this summer? What's going on? She goes, oh, well, she's failed English. I said, well, how can she fail English? You can only fail if you don't drop before if you're not doing well, you got a chance to drop before the deadline. She goes, oh, well, we didn't know anything about that. I said, that's what happens when you don't have the right things in order. These little things that make big differences will come back to haunt you. And so she's like, oh my God, you know what? Wait a minute, let me go back. How do I go back and sign her up? Because if she had been in it, she would have dropped that class. I said, absolutely, she wouldn't have failed it. I had 2 other students who dropped the class before they would fail it. You can drop a class, it won't hurt you. And that way you won't fail it, which will hurt you for your GPA. So students, know your add and drop class deadline date. Soon as you get your schedule for the year, you look at that deadline date and you mark it in your calendar. Because if for some reason you are struggling in a class, you get out. You don't stay inside that class and wait to fail. So please make sure you are paying key attention to your drop and add dates, okay? That's important. Next on the list is campus life. No, your advisor. Keep in mind, colleges have advisors just like high school. But how many of you actually knew your high school advisor? Or how many of you actually had time to spend with your high school advisor? Well, college advisors are somewhat the same way. They have students who are assigned to them. If you don't make the effort, then they're not necessarily available. Or sometimes they're not available because they have a caseload of students. Case an example, when one of my mentees who will share tonight, when she first got to campus, she was trying to figure out why her advisor wasn't getting back to her. She knew she wanted to graduate early. She's like, Ms. Robinson, can we map this out? So when I go to her, I just tell her exactly what I need her to do. And so we got on the phone with her advisor, and I'm on the phone trying to teach her advisor what to do. And I'm like, okay. Oh, she's like, oh, Ms. Robinson, thank you so much for being on this call. I don't know what I would have did. The lady didn't even know half of what you was telling her. We need to make sure our children know and can advocate, or if they have someone to advocate for them so that they can make the best decisions. Also, you want to make sure that you understand, parents, that sometimes students can't talk to you. They actually need someone else to talk to. Some things they're not going to want to come to you and talk about because they're in college now. So they need to have someone they can talk to. That's some of the things and the benefits that my mentees go through, my coaching students go through. Ms. Robinson, sometimes I can talk to you about stuff I don't want to talk to my parents about anymore. And so they need that outlet. It's not me. They need someone. They do need that outlet. Campus life. There are so many things on your campus, students. When you get there, know it all. Know where the admissions office is, know where financial aid office, know where student accounts is, know where what the library office hours are, know where the tutoring lab is on campus, know where they have the health services office on campus, because you might need to go. Know where the counseling services offices is on campus. Every office on campus, you need to know where it's located in case you need it, right? Don't just know where the bookstore is because you want to go in the bookstore and buy a t-shirt or a sweatsuit or a sweat jacket. Make sure you know where everything is on that campus. That is key. That is important. Books. Parents, rent books. If it's not in their major, rent the book. They can return the book back instead of paying that full price for those books. Books are expensive. You want to make sure you can rent. You can rent on Amazon. You can rent from their bookstore on their campus. You can also use a website called Chegg, Chegg. That's also a website, excuse me, that you can look for books as well. But rent, unless it's in their major and they're going to need it later. Scholarships. Please don't think that scholarships stop once you get to college. They do not. And you need to make sure that scholarships that are, whether scholarships that you got this year, will those scholarships be renewable next year, or do they go away? You need to be still applying for scholarships. You need to be connected to the financial aid office. I send my mentees and text them scholarships all the time. If I find out about a scholarship, I find out about an internship, they got it. Because they're not thinking about it because they're just trying to get through the hardness of the semester and the classes. But parents, you can still make sure that they are doing the scholarships and they are getting access to the scholarship. We have a scholarship membership. Our membership also does put on scholarships. If we find out about college student scholarships, those are in our scholarship membership as well. Now, drugs and alcohol. I said this is real talk. Every college campus have drugs, even if the campus is a no drug policy campus. One of my mentees went to college. Her college was a no drug college campus. And in fact, you would have thought it was a free drug college campus because the students were doing drugs on her campus. And it was only, every student is not doing it, but there are some. Some kids don't come to college for college. They come to college to party. And so, until the schools can identify those students, they're there. Once they get identified, they usually eliminate it, but until that happens. So students, you have to be mindful. You have to be paying attention. I always say never drink after someone or take a drink from someone who made it for you. You always go and get your own drink. You make your own drink. You watch exactly what is in that drink, and you don't drink anything you don't know what's in it. That's it. That will save your life. Do not drink anything that you are not familiar with, and don't let anyone, especially young ladies, give you a drink. Date rape on colleges is real. Alcohol on college and drugs on college campuses is real. Never eat someone desserts, because you know they put in drugs in desserts from someone if you don't know what's in it as well, or if you think something could be a little suspect. Don't do it. That leads me right into dating. Date rape on campuses exists. It's quiet kept, but it exists. So please, please, young ladies, even more importantly, be mindful. I always tell my mentees, I always tell students from my program, I tell the young men, do not go in a young girl's room. If she can't meet with you in the lobby and she's too fast and wants you to go up in her room, you better not, because you don't know if she say you raped her, it's between you and her. There is your word against her word that will ruin your life. Meet her in the lobby. Same thing I tell young ladies, don't you go up in a boy's dorm room either. If he needs to see you in his room, he ain't the right one. Be downstairs in the lobby where everybody can see you. If you're walking on campus, walk in well-lit areas where other people can see you so that you can keep yourself safe. You would rather be safe than sorry. There is a lot of suicide rates on campus due to dating because young women are being raped and they don't know how to tell anyone. They don't know how to deal with it. Students, please, this is your life. Value your life. Young ladies, value your life. It's different if you guys are in a relationship and you've been together for quite some time and you know them. These are guys you're just meeting. And so you don't know them. And I'm not saying every kid is a bad kid, but you don't know. And so you'd rather be safe than sorry. So meeting in the lobby would keep you safe. Roommates, a better, brighter note. Roommates. So not every roommate is going to be a bright roommate, right? And so there'll be some roommate horror stories, I'm sure. However, please, for your safety, if you are not comfortable with a roommate, make sure you submit a request letting someone on your campus know, report it, whatever the case might be, so that you are not forced. Some of you have never shared a room before. This will be your first time sharing a room with someone. And it's going to be different for you. And so every roommate is not a great roommate, but hopefully you get a nice roommate that you can share with. Don't you be the bad roommate. That's what we're going to say tonight, right? Make sure you are a great roommate. That's important and that is key. And that will make sure that you have a foundation, and hopefully you can encourage the bad roommate, if they bad, to be a little more nicer, because they'll see that you're nice and you're sweet and you're inviting, right? Please remember, if you get a roommate that you're not getting along with, speak up. One of my mentees on tonight will probably share about her horror roommate stories. In the beginning, she reached out to me and she's like, Ms. Robinson, I know I haven't been here long. I know you warned me about the 3 roommate thing and told me you didn't think it was going to be a good idea. And I went along and did it anyway, but I need you to help me figure out how to get out. So we had to get her out of her room and into a new dorm room. And so parents, please, please, students, please make sure you are mindful. Dorm decor, the things that you need to take with you in the onto your dorm rooms. I think I actually added that to one of the emails that will come out to you after this masterclass, but if not, I'll make sure I add that in and give you the list of what you would need to have in your dorm rooms. So that'll help you get ahead. One other final thing that's not on this slide, and that is testing. Please keep in mind that students, please keep in mind that some colleges require placement testing, almost all of them. And so you need to be mindful and watching for if and when placement testing will take place. Or you can call and find out if your school requires placement testing. And a lot of times it's to decide what actual classes you will be placed in is some reasons why they actually do placement testing. So you want to be mindful about that because you want to prepare yourself. Last year, they did a lot of the placement testing virtually because of the COVID, but because college campuses are opening back up, they might be doing them actually in person now. So prepare for placement testing. Health forms, parents, your students do have to get health forms and physicals done before they go off to college. Please make sure you go online on your student's website, download the health form, make your appointments now so that you can get them turned in prior to. Also, if you have not done so, contact your school to find out if your child must be COVID vaccinated before they can come in the fall, because there are a lot of schools switching to saying students can only arrive to our campus and be on campus for learning in person in the fall if they are fully vaccinated. So please, these are things that you now need to find out about, because these are things that are important. Real talk to my students. Here's the deal. Success is not guaranteed. You have to work hard for it. And so going off to college because you're now a college student does not mean you are going to be successful unless you decide, you put in the work, and you do what's necessary to be successful. I said to you guys in the beginning, as promised, that I would not leave you alone to figure out on your own what to do and how to navigate through this next phase of your journey. And so I want to introduce to you, one last thing before I introduce to you. This is one of my fabulous students from the class of 2021. I know some of y'all in the background like, oh yeah, Howard, she a bison. Buy a t-shirt from your new school and celebrate if you have not already. And so I see all the students celebrating and rocking their schools. And so I decided to spotlight her and rock her through my presentation. So let's talk briefly about the college transition program. Our college transition program is a coaching mentor program for students who are interested in making sure that they actually have someone that can coach them along the journey while they're in college. So some of the things we do and that I do with the students in the coaching is every day, every morning, they get a text message from me. Why? Because I believe the morning sets the tone for your whole entire day. And so if they get up and that day is not necessarily a great day when they got up, they can read my text message and recalibrate their day so that they can be inspired, they can be motivated to push beyond whatever happened the night before or whatever they felt when they touched the floor that morning. They can readjust. They also can reach out to me about internships. I send them information about scholarships as well as internships through a group text thread that they're all on. I review their resumes in their college transition program if they need resumes for something on their college campus or interview or any of those things. I also give them feedback and become references on their college. So a lot of them are looking for jobs and doing different things while in their colleges. I'm their reference while they're there. I also help them interview and practice for if they're wanting to do, one of my students wanted to be an RA, she wanted to get a job, she wanted to, now she's looking at grad school. So there's the different facets that they go through that I'm there to coach them through. They can reach out to me when they have any concerns or problems, no matter what it is. They can reach out to me. They can just feel like today I want to quit and they can call me. I tell them, if you feel like you want to quit, you better call me because we ain't quitters. We winners on this team. We don't do quitting. So you need to call me so I can talk you off the ledge and we can get back to doing what we need to do. And that is being successful. And so they know they can call me. They know I got their back. They know I'm gonna be there to support them and talk them through it. Why? Because I'm not judging them. I'm meeting them where they are. I'm meeting them with what they know, what they need, because I was there as that freshman in college when I felt like flunking out and I know I wasn't doing well, but I ain't have nobody. I ain't have a coach, I ain't have a mentor. And so that's why I'm so passionate about making sure each student that goes off to college, if they need it, they have a coach, they have a mentor. Because too many students go and they're not successful. Too many students go and they waste 4 years of their life. Too many students go and they never make it through the 4th year. Some don't make it through the 1st year. Well, in this cohort, in this program, in these groups of students, I want to make sure they have that support, they have that resource, so that does not become them. There's too many of us in the statistics bank of going to college and dropping out. We want to make sure our kids go to college and they stay in college. They survive college. When they're registering for their class, we talked about that. I make sure they do not schedule over 15 credits. We look at their schedule. We look at their 4-year at a glance. We make sure they have it in order so that they're not out of order. We also talk to them about their professors, how to navigate, how to communicate with them, how to be successful in their classes. If they need to add or drop a class, And emotionally, when they are feeling emotionally drained, I'm there to pick them up. So we make sure they have everything they need in mentorship. Also, I focus on their life after college. I want to make sure they know in 4 years what's your plan. So one of my students who will share tonight, because I don't want you guys to take it from me, I want you to understand and hear it from students who are really my mentees, because you might just think I'm just playing around, or you might just think I'm tooting my own horn, but I never do. So I make sure they come to share their part, and I don't script them to share what they want to share. But we want to make sure that they can, the students have a plan for after their 4 years. College is not for them to just survive. It's there for them to thrive. You do not go through 4 years without having a plan of what's coming after that 4th year, whether it's going straight into your career, grad school, whether it's looking for an internship, whatever it is, we want to make sure they're set up for success. So tonight I brought 2 of my favorite mentees. They all my favorites, but I always tell them my favorites. And so David is class of 2020 from Bowie High School. He is a rising sophomore at Towson University. And then Marcy Bowers is a graduate of Grace Brethren High School, and she's a rising senior at Cedar Crest College. And I can't even tell you her year because Marcy done, Marcy a go-getter. Marcy graduated a year before she's supposed to graduate from college. So she'll tell you what year she graduated from high school, because we started that plan in freshman year. I thought she was crazy when she called me. I said, girl, you hadn't been at campus for a month and you already calling me, talking about how can we set this up for me to graduate in 3 years instead of 4. But I ain't mad at you. We're going to figure it out, and I'm going to support you to do it. And so I am going to let them, because I am so proud of them, share briefly with you. So David, we'll start with you if you come off of mute, and I'll let you share with everyone. I got to make sure David's on. Oh, okay, he is.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, David.
Okay. How you doing, everyone? Hope everyone's doing well. Where do you want me to start? Tell me, just give me a general topic.
So David, tell them about it for you, because as a freshman, David did very well. But David, how was it for you? Because I can remember when you called. So both David and Marcy went through my College Bound program, and then now they're in my mentee program. But David had to make a very important decision. And David, talk about how that decision was for you, because David has schools where he was accepted to where he can go straight into that college, or he can go to Towson and do Towson's remote program. So meaning you're remote that first year in a program, and then as your second year, you're now a full Towson University student. And I can remember David calling and we having the conversation, because at first he was thinking about it on his own. And then I said, well, let's talk about it. Like, we're gonna talk through this. And so talk about what that felt like for you to be able to make that decision, because I think that would be a good point for you to help some of the students in understanding just the fact that they're going to have to make really important decisions in their journey.
Got you. Okay. How can I say? Well, everyone pretty much knows in my family, Towson was my #1 choice school, and the way I was accepted into their school, where it's called the Freshman Transition Program, with their partnership with Community College of Baltimore County. So when me and Miss Robinson, we opened my letter up and I saw it, I was like, well, they don't want me, I don't want them. She was just telling me, to slow my roll, you get in where you fit in, and everything will still line up. So throughout the program, you do it the first semester, you earn a certain amount of credits. When you pass those classes, you just automatically, you're a Towson student, you're still in your class. So for me, that'll be 2024. And it's a good program. I definitely say it's a good program if you're not decided yet. It gives you more time to get decided. It allows you to decide, well, am I really ready yet for a 4-year university? So maybe if you go to the community college route, and I had no idea colleges had programs like these where they still will accept you, but let's say maybe your test scores are not quite what they look for, your GPA is not quite what they look for, they still want you to come to their school, and through that program they have set up, you can improve yourself and become a better student. So I'm very thankful that me and Miss Robinson, we looked down and saw that, and she explained that to me. Because once I saw that I wasn't accepted on the Towson, I was just on to the next school, in my mind.
And that was important too. And so one of the things for you, David, also to expound on is, as a freshman at Towson, because things were virtual and you weren't able to be in person, what kind of transition was that for you also? Because you didn't get to really have that momentum to be on the campus? Because although you were going to be a part of another institution for the first year, you were still going to be living on Townsend's campus, and
Correct.
really no one else knows you're in that program but you and the
Correct.
people in that program. But
Yes,
because you didn't get to go on campus, what was that like for transitioning wise for when things started getting tough, classes started getting hard? How was that? Because these freshmen listening, they're getting ready to walk into what they believe is, some of them still don't believe that college is not like high school. So expand on that a little bit about your experience as a student, because you did well in high school. You weren't no C or D student, you were an A or B student, but college was still at a different level for you.
The transition, I would say, I'm just completely, to be completely honest, it's very, very hard. The transition, high school and college are two different things. When it comes to college, I'm not going to say that no one cares, but no one is holding hands. No one's holding hands. You have to, if I could tell him, like, high school senior now, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to know how to email, walk across the campus to this office. For me, just emailing the right people, asking the right questions. Don't be afraid. Never be afraid to advocate for yourself. No question is silly. You want to be informed on these things because there's so much that colleges offer that most students will never know about because they don't ask. In high school, they don't have more. In college, there's no morning announcements, no afternoon announcements. Wish your parents' contact info. That's all that info is for emergencies only. So, it's all on you, and you have to know, how to comprehend. You have to know how to advocate, who to talk to. Never think that someone is out of your reach. If you can ask the teacher, hey, how can I talk to such and such in this building or that building? They'll help you out. No one, from my experience, anyone who I've ever emailed this for so far, they're able to help me, even if it's not directly them. They can point me in the right direction. So I always say, hey, well, can you point me in the right direction? So advocate for yourself is a big thing in college, I would say. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me, David?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Okay. I pushed the wrong button. So one of the things I know for you was, I can remember you sending me a text message one day, because you get the daily doses, but I can remember you sending a text message saying, Ms. Robinson, two different times. First time is, I'm so happy you forced us to like self-advocate for ourselves. I find myself having to ask these professors questions and things, and I'm not even scared. Like, I make sure I ask everything. And so for you, I'm happy for that, because you did that when you were in the program with me also. But share what it was like for you to get up every morning, because I know you said there was, even though you were home and you weren't even on campus, there was some days where you felt like, okay, you know what, Ms. Robinson, this is a lot. Like, this is just a lot. But you said those doses gave you, on some days where you didn't want to tell me it was a lot, but it gave you that push to say, you know what, I got this.
Okay, so for me, being at home for the first year was very different. So I might wake up, let's say I might wake up at 8:30. I don't feel like doing anything today. 9 o'clock, that daily dose come in, and it's almost as sometimes she was speaking to me like, you made it this far. It don't make sense to give up now. And that was true for me, especially in this semester, just going halfway through. It has got really hard for me. I'm just done. I'm done with it. But like, you've made it this far, so it don't make no sense to give up. So the daily dose of inspirations we get from Miss Robinson is very helpful. When some of our peers in the same, when they reply back, is also helpful, because now you know that, well, this is not just coming from Miss Robinson. She got her degree, she good. We're all in the same boat together as well. So to also know that there's others who go through the same hardships you go through with school and college, it's a good feeling, because now you're not in it alone. And I can ask my peers. Maybe I can ask my peers. Maybe I can articulate better with my peers how to get to a certain point than I can with Miss Robinson or my parents. And that's a good feeling. It's a great feeling.
Absolutely. And so that's a part of the coaching and mentor in the transition program. Not only am I their coach and mentor as a facilitator, but they have each other to coach each other and mentor each other within the small group that they're in together, and to lean on each other's shoulders. So David, will any final leave with any of the students or the parents who are wondering or saying, should I enroll or be a part of Ms. Robinson's College Transition Mentor Program? What would you say to that student who says, well, I don't really need it? Or what would you say? Because for you, it was no hesitation. You were telling Ms. Black, like, you need to make sure you sign me up for Ms. Robinson's next program, because I ain't going to the next level without her. But for some other student who does not know, or maybe was not with me in their high school career, what would you say to that parent, or that to those parents and those students?
Correct. For the parents, I would say it's an investment well worth it. And for the students, I would say, if you do enroll Ms. Robinson, please, please, please don't waste your parents' investment on you. It's a nice piece of money and you cannot waste it. Ms. Robinson is the cheat code, I'm telling y'all. So, if you enroll in her program, and you might feel like, well, for myself, sometimes where it got hard, my mom would say, well, why don't you just ask Ms. Robinson? I said, well, it's not that hard yet. Maybe it was that hard for me. So, ask questions, always ask questions. Don't be afraid to call her, text her, email her. She's there. It's an investment well worth it. You can't waste it.
Absolutely. Thank you, David. So if you have to go, you go, but if you don't, stick around, and I'm going to let Marcy come on and share and ask Marcy a few questions now. Thank you,
Okay,
David.
No problem.
Marcy?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, dear. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So everyone, this is Marcy, and Marcy, again, rising senior at Cedar Crest College. And so Marcy, I want you to share with the families and the students your experience. I met Marcy in her junior year. Marcy had been going through some difficult times. She had a car accident, thought college wasn't going to be possible for her. Mom, I came to their school, spoke, and she was just like, things has passed by, and then she was just telling her mother, listen, you don't need to call that lady and find her because I need her help. And so Marcy has been with me since then. But Marcy, share about your experience when you first arrived to Cedar Crest, because it wasn't necessarily an easy, you were excited. We had definitely, and believe it or not, Cedar Crest was a school that Marcy had no clue about. I gave her that school. She went to visit. I said, if you just go visit, I promise you, you might fall in love. She went to visit it, fell in love, and was like, Ms. Robinson, we could kind of we already applied to everywhere, but I'm sold. I just need them to say yes and give the right money. But when she got there, it wasn't necessarily the adjustments were different. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that, so that these kids can be aware of what they're about to possibly embark upon at their college or their university.
Yes. So just to start, Ms. Robinson already said, my name is Marcy. I graduated high school in 2019. My graduation was supposed to be, 2023. But since I'm doing it in 3 years, I will be graduating this time next year. I'm a double major in social work and psychology, and I hope to go on to get my master's so I can become a psychotherapist. So just talking to some of the parents, I know you're probably familiar with this saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and Miss Robinson was definitely a part of my village. How would I be here today if I didn't have that help and that push? Um, from the very beginning, Miss Robinson came over to my house. We were talking. I was on the phone with my advisor. My advisor was speaking another language, and I was speaking English, basically. And Miss Robinson said, no, look, give me the phone. Started talking to my advisor, and next thing you know, I'm getting all these kinds of answers, these kinds of programs that I didn't even know existed, like a 4-year guarantee. If I'm not graduated by 4 years, my school will pay for my education. That wouldn't have even come had Miss Robinson not taken that phone from me and been like, no, this is what we need to know. This is how the conversation's going to go. Let's cut the mess. Let's get straight to the point. Um, so first going into school, I had 2 advisors since I'm a double major. One advisor was all for my 3-year plan. The other advisor was very adamant that I don't do it, said it was impossible, but here I am proving them wrong. So I wouldn't have been able to do that without Miss Robinson, making sure my credit numbers were on point, making sure I'm balancing clubs and my job, filling out job paperwork. I wouldn't have been able to get a job if I hadn't had that job paperwork. That was my first, as I like to say, big girl job. I didn't know what a W-8 form was and all this mess. And Miss Robinson's like, well, this isn't my expertise, but we're going to go through it. And we went through it, and I turned it in, and I got a job at our school's library. But as far as transitioning into school, I go to a PWI. I am one of the few Black people on my campuses that you could probably count on your hands. And my roommates were not people of color. I had two other roommates, and they did like to um, take part in some recreational activities, which, is okay if you did it on your own time. But unfortunately, they did it in our room, and I did not want to get caught up for something that I had not been doing. Basically, I would have been guilty by association, and I was not trying to waste my single mother's money on this experience because that's not what I came to college for. So Miss Robinson helped me with that. I was freaking out over roommates and everything, but she kind of calmed me down. I was like, okay, this is what we have to do. I'm not going to tell you I told you so, but I told you so. But she was just guiding me through everything. Let's see, talk about filling out paperwork. And she's even from the beginning, the middle, and she's even here as I'm finishing up my experience. I'm asking her, I'm like, wow, Miss Robinson, the time has been really coming up quick. I need to get my master's. I'm like, how do I even do that? I'm like, what do I do? Is the process the same? Do I apply? What's going on? And we slowly started to talk about the things that I needed, the forms of testing that they even do, which I didn't know was even a thing for your master's degree. And I mean, she is just guiding me, kept my head attached to my neck, and just really helped give me a peace of mind during this process.
And so, Marcy, one of the things for you is for any student who's on here who's considering that they maybe want to do more than one major and they want to do a double major or major and minor, what advice would you give them? Because their journey is going to be different than anyone else's. It's a little more difficult. It's harder. It's stacked. What advice or structure or focus would you advise that you would lay on them so they're prepared when they walk onto their campus if that's what they're going to do?
You have to be motivated. You really have to be motivated. There's a lot of times doing the double major. I'm also getting a certificate in child abuse and maltreatment. So I am certified in the state of Pennsylvania as a mandated reporter for any forms of child abuse that I see. So with that and my double majors, a lot of times I find myself always doing work, and my friends would go out and be like, we just need to drive, we need to go out. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm like, maybe we could take one next week. I have to be on my P's and Q's, like crossing all my T's, dotting all my I's. And it's really something you have to find within yourself. If you don't have it, you know you don't have it. If you have it, you know you do. And nobody else is going to be pushing you but yourself. For me, I had to find what worked, what didn't. Study groups did not work for me. Going to the library did not work for me. It felt like I was being forced to do work. I need to be in my own little turtle shell, and that was my room. Um, and I had to make a schedule for myself. I know you may laugh, but have to incorporate naps into my schedule. So I get at least a 3-hour nap in maybe once or twice a day. And that's what's been working for me. But you have to be motivated. Um, and you have to have something to hold on to. For me, I'm the fifth generation college graduates in my family. That's a legacy that I had to hold up to. And I set a goal for myself. And my mom taught me if you start something, you finish it. So you have to have a goal. You want to chase that goal, and you just got to go for it.
Absolutely. And I must say that I am a proud mentor of Marcy, like 3 years, just the growth I see in her tonight. is a different young woman that I met in her junior year of high school. Of course, why? Because I told you, you don't go to college to just survive. You go to college to thrive. And so what I see tonight before you is a young lady who's thriving. And so I didn't bring them here so that they can hype up for you guys to join the mentor program. I brought them tonight because I wanted them to be peer-to-peer with the students who are watching with you as parents, to hear students who are in the seat that they are about to, or in the journey and the walk that they are about to walk into, so that they understand that what you've been saying as parents have been true all along. And what I'm saying to them now in this masterclass, they get a validation because now it's, and sometimes they can't hear it from you as a parent because they've heard you say too much already. And that's not bad. That's just how they see it as us as parents. But what they can now do is hear it differently because I'm saying it, but then even differently because their peer is saying it also. And so I really brought them so that they can share candidly and transparently about their experience and how they've overcome, because they've had challenges. This college thing hasn't been easy for them the entire time. But what they both have said is that they had to remain focused. They had my support, but most importantly, they had their own tenacity to understand that they knew success was not going to be handed to them. They had to work hard for it, and they're willing to work hard for it. So Marcy, if you had anything to leave the students with or the parents with, like I asked David, on if you believe that they should enroll their child, or that as a child should believe that they should have a mentor / coach for them while they're in college, what would you share?
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Sometimes I feel like you have to humble yourself in order to grow yourself. And this is a very humbling experience. Miss Robinson keeps it to you straight. This is something where you say, yeah, I don't need her, but you end up regretting it. And if there's one thing in life that you don't want to do, is live with regret. And this is something you don't want to regret.
Absolutely. And so Marcy and David, thank you so much. If you guys stick around, if you can, if not, then I understand, but we'll wait and see. We're getting ready to be in the Q&A. So parents and students might have specific questions for you about college if you stick around. And so again, my goal to each and every one of the students and the parents as a mentor is literally to meet the students where they are and support them in who they are becoming, by pushing them to discover that college is a place for them to thrive, not just survive, and that they have me as their support, me as their team, and me to give them the mentorship that they need to journey forward. So I know by now you're saying, well, wait a minute, that sounds great. That's all good. That's great. That's great. But how much is the mentor program? Because I need to know if my student is going to be involved in the actual program. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you how you can go to that and find out more information about it. So here's our mentor program. I left the poll up. I forgot about it, so I'll end it. I'll hold it and then share the results. So the College Transition Mentor Program, here's the page about it where you get all the information about it, even the testimonials about it. The program literally is affordable because I wanted to make sure there was no family that could not do it. It's literally a $97 a month program. So you pay $97 a month. You hit the button today to enroll your child, and then your next payment won't be until September, because we started in August and we go from August to May. Why? Because that's when they're in college. So from August, the first day they start college, to May, when the day that they finish exams and they're done at their college or university for that year. Each year is the same, every month is the same. But again, you're only paying for the months that they're in it. So from August until May. And so when you click to subscribe them in now, it'll take that first payment, then it won't take another payment until September. And so that will be your second payment, and then each month it'll be, or you can pay in full, is the $897 for the for the August through May. And then your student doesn't have to worry about it, and you actually get a discount. You almost get 1 month free when you pay for it in advance and you pay for it in full. So that is the program, and I will share that link, of course, and you'll get that email with that same link on the actual thank you letter as well. But we want to take time to answer any questions that you may have at this time. And let me go ahead and show the results. In your poll results, most of you say that time management is key, study habits was second, financial awareness was third, discovering your why. Everybody voted on one or the other. Oh, actually, seeking help when needed before it's too late was actually second. And utilizing available resources came in actual third, and then study habits. Do you believe your student freshman year will be successful if they had a coach or mentor? So the highest one with need was working through times when you feel like pretty much not going through it, like you don't have any support or you feel like you're giving up. The second highest number was making important decisions, students having someone to help them make decisions. Third was discussion internship opportunities. 4 was encouraging students, encouraging you weekly to stay on track via email or message. We do it via message. The next one was selecting your classes. Then it was reviewing your resume for interviews and mock interviews. 96% of you said 22 out of 23 voted for yes. 1 out of 23 voted for no. If given an opportunity, would you find it an asset? So of course, I wanted to make sure you could see the poll. I'm actually, I guess, downloading the poll somehow or another. I don't know, but I'm just going to put it down there. That was the first time doing a poll. So. All right, so I want to make sure we open it up for questions. So I am going to have it where you can ask me any questions. I'll stop share screen for now, and we will jump on this side so that you can ask any questions that you might have. I will go through the feed to see if there was any questions posted. But if not, you can actually come off of mute and ask questions, or you can post the questions in the feed about any questions you have at this time. Did I do that well that no one has questions? Any questions? Feel free to come off mute and ask your questions. Remember, no question is a dumb question. It's only dumb if you don't ask the question. So you can actually unmute yourself if you have questions. I also posted the link in the feed for the college transition program. If you're interested, the link is in the feed for you to click the link and you can go to the page that I showed you on the screen. But any questions about what you needed to do, what we covered, anything from students about what they're getting ready to embark upon, any questions that you have. We want to make sure that you feel confident about moving forward as a college student. So please feel free to unmute. If there's any of my families on who are a part of my College Bound program, who's moving on to college as well, just like all the other parents, any questions you have, please unmute yourself and ask the question. We have 10 more minutes before the masterclass is over, and we want to make sure you get all your questions answered. Any last minute things you're not sure about, anything about the loans we talked about that you're not sure about, anything about campus life, roommates, any of those things, now please is the time to ask any questions you would have. And you can ask students, you can ask my students any questions as well. If you have any questions for my students that are college students, they're still on. So you can ask any questions as well for them too. So any questions? Any questions about the mentor program? If any additional questions about that, I can answer any questions you have about that as well. So, okay, so everybody that's on, if you at least felt like you gained something that you were not aware about, that you needed information about, or that this was helpful for you in some kind of way, chat a number 1 in the feed. So at least we can see that you at least got something by attending the master classes. We don't have any questions, seems like, but if you got something from the master class, that taught you something, that's prepared you, just gave you what you need to move forward, you got some next steps that you need, you're gonna know exactly what you need to do. Please keep in mind that your first payment to the college will most likely come in July or August. So please start preparing yourself financially. Usually it's July or August for your first payment. So if you're on the payment plan that we talked about, that 10 payment plan, your first one will be in July. Please keep in mind your tuition bills are by semester. Once you get that bill for the first semester, please do not think that's the only bill. Your second semester bill will be coming also. So please make sure you prepare. Please make sure you prepare for 4 years, not just 1 year. Make sure that you have your financial information about your financial information ready for each year, because some scholarships are not renewable second, third, and fourth year. So please prepare, and remember, colleges go up every year on tuition unless they are a frozen tuition school. So every year we can expect an increase in tuition and fees. So make sure you're prepared for that as well. Someone said, what office would I contact if I want to ask for more money? Financial aid office. And so if they say they're not the department, then admissions is. Each school is different. Some, the admissions department do it, and some, the financial aid do it. So I would start with financial aid first, and then if they claim it's not them, then say, oh, okay, connect me to whoever it is, and then they should connect you. How would we know if the scholarship is not renewable? So academic scholarships are renewable only if you maintain the GPA required for that academic scholarship. Private scholarships, when you get awarded those scholarships and the organizations reach out to you, you need to ask them if they are renewable. And in any other scholarships that come from your college, if they're separate line items from academic, you need to ask if they are renewable as well. So remember, not all scholarships are renewable money. So please make sure you're aware of what's renewable and what's not. Usually by right before the kids leave in the spring semester, the following school year increase comes out. And so once they're gone, like, you know, they get the kids out the door, remember that the staff is still there. So you can ask them. You can reach out and say, I want to talk about next year's information. Like, so I'm calling my daughter's financial aid advisor the end of this month. So I can ask her, what's still in line for next year? What's this with all the increases with her choosing this dorm, this meal plan, what's the change, or what, you know, is we still at a zero balance? Because that's my main focus, because we don't pay for college. And so you need to make sure you're preparing for each year, not just the first year. The scholarship membership program is $19.99 a month. So it's a monthly scholarship membership. It's $19.99. You're welcome. You're welcome. Any final questions? How many of you are considering your child being in the college transition mentor program? If you're considering, put a 2 in the chat, because you know I can't see you guys on the screen. So put a number 2 in the chat if you're considering your child being a part of the college transition mentor program. Just put a number 2 in the chat. Please let me say this, because I don't want any parents fussing me out. I take limited students, because you heard Marcy and David say that I am connected to them like glue, because they know I am on them daily. And I don't want hundreds of kids to be mentors to hundreds of kids. Why? Because I need to be personal with my babies. Like, I am very up close and personal. David and Marcy will tell you that. I am very personal with them. Anything they're going through in their private family life, I am up close and personal. And so, because I know that most of the time things affect us because something is going on in our lives. And they'd be like, oh, well, Miss Robinson, Dad, you right on point, because I'm paying attention, because I know what it's like to get to college. And I was a first generation college student. So my mom could support me in love wise, but she can support me in college wise and education wise, helping me with my coursework, or pushing me to say, go see the tutoring lab, go see the writing lab. She didn't even know those things existed on the campus. And so for them, I'm always pushing them to make sure that they are utilizing their resources, but most importantly, that they know they have me at their fingertip. They have me, and I tell them every day, all day, don't forget, I'm just one phone call away. And they know that, and they do that. And so for me, I want them to feel like they have that. And so again, they're a community, they're a small group, and they are together, and they knit it together, and they respond in a group chat, and we communicate with each other, because they need other people outside sometimes of their own college campus, because they don't always get to meet friends on college. But if they already know each other, they can be on 2 different college campuses and still be supporting one another in the cohort. So is the scholarship mentor program also August through May? Is the scholarship mentor the scholarship membership program is year round. And so, but keeping in mind, and so this is for all parents, keeping in mind, please, 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 scholarships do not stop once your student goes to college. Still keep allowing them, still keep pushing them every year. You just heard me say college tuition goes up. Every year, some of the college scholarships that you got this year will not be on your account next year. And so you still need some money to cover that cost if you were already coming out of pocket with some additional cost. Now you will have to add all those non-renewables. Most private scholarships are non-renewable, but here's how you make them renewable. Send an update to the scholarship committee, let them know how thankful and grateful you are and were, and let them know how well you did, and find out, because somebody might not have applied the current year and they still have a little bit of money left over. And you asked, so now you shall receive. If you never ask, you'll never receive. I always tell people there's power in the ask. That's why you hear me ask 1,000 times. You sure you don't have questions? Ask your questions, because there's power in asking, because that's where the knowledge comes. So ask about scholarships. That's why I told you when I first got on this masterclass, if you have not called your college and asked for more money, why not? So tomorrow morning when you wake up, that should be the first thing on your to-do list, is calling your college to say, I need more money. Because what happens if you can go from paying $5,000 to $2,000? I don't know about you, but I would be in Montego Bay, Jamaica, mommy or daddy, with that $3,000 I'm saving from not having to send to a college. So therefore, call them tomorrow so you can get some more money. That's why I'm having that financial aid talk with my daughter's school, because whatever they're going to come up with extra, then I ask for that extra, I'm going to be on vacation in somebody's island. You guys, I want you to do the same thing. And so I read a statistic that said, you saw it on the slide, only 7% of families actually call and ask for more money. And you can guarantee those 7% are not us. But after tonight, it will be us and beyond us for that 7%, because we know the deal now. So if their 7% is getting more money, count us in the number of that 7% as well, because we will get money as well. So, sorry, membership. Yes, the membership is about the year. It's okay. So thank you so much to each and every one of you. For those of you who replied to, click the link, join. I promise you, if you know that your child struggled in high school a little bit, this mentor program is what they need. And not because I'm the one doing it, but I am the one that can relate to their struggles. I've been there. I've done that. I've accomplished beyond that. And I have allowed and watched my students over the last 15 years, not just survive at college, but thrive at college. And so we need to make sure that our kids have what they need to be successful, to be supported, and most importantly, come out of college doing exactly what they desire to do and go straight into their career or go into their master program, whatever it is that they have for next level. The next level is determined by them. Students, I leave you with this. And so hopefully your parents got you in the background listening in. Remember, college is not like high school. When you walk onto your college campus, the first day will dictate how the rest of the days will be. Make your first day your best day, and all of the remaining days will be greater days. Go and be successful. Remember, you're not going to college to just survive. You're going to thrive. College is a place for you to set the foundation. You will meet people that will become lifelong friends. You will make connections that will take you beyond where you imagine. But in the end, after you leave that campus 4 years from today, you will remember that you decided, you set boundaries, and you determined that you were going there to be successful. And when you come out, you will achieve nothing but success. Good luck to each and every one of you. Class of 2021, congratulations, because the best is still yet to come for you. To all the families, keep being amazing, do great things. And families, parents, Your support does not stop here when your child walks onto their college campus. Continue to support them, continue to love on them, continue to encourage them, and remember to call them. And mom and dad, don't get upset when they don't reach out as much as you expect them to. They are now college students, so they don't really want to be bothered anymore. And so just trust that you have done everything you were supposed to do, and that they have a foundation that they will go forth and be great. And so don't think it's personal. It's just they are now young adults and they don't really need us anymore as much as they believe. So it's hard for you, but it's not hard for them. And so give them some slack, because I can see some of y'all now driving them crazy. You're going to have to step back a little and allow them to enjoy their freedom. But students, remember, freedom means just that. You determine what that freedom would look like. Don't take advantage of it, embrace it, and make it the best that you need it to be. Mikhail and I really enjoyed and appreciate the information. You're welcome. You're welcome. You guys are so welcome. You're so welcome. Oh, so your program helps us to get scholarships or helps us to apply. Yes, yes. So this program does help with scholarships and help you to apply if you need them. Yes. Okay, so thank you guys so much. It's 8:33. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who did the poll. Thank you for everyone who had questions, chatted. I look forward to those of you who will join us in the College Transition Mentor Program so that I can love on you throughout your next 4 years. Let's get ready to make history together. And to each and every one of you, have a blessed and amazing night. And again, class of 2021, you rock. Congratulations. The best is yet to come. Good night.